Let's review some of the drumming terminology. So a really important thing to know is that this is the head of the drum and this is the part that we hit. And we hold it between our legs or on the body of the drum. Make sure that it's nice and secure so that it doesn't slip as you're playing. When you're drumming, you have two hands, and it doesn't matter which one is right and left, but it matters which one is your strong hand. So if you most often hold your pencil or throw a ball with your right hand, that's your strong hand. If you often do that with your left hand, then that left hand would be your strong hand. I'm right-handed. I shoot a basketball with my right hand. I write with my right hand, so my strong hand is my right hand. But feel free to use whichever hand is your strongest. Your opposite hand is called your weak hand. And I'm going to remind you, when we play on the middle of the drum, we use this part of our hands, our palms. See if you can take your two hands together and rub your palms together just like that. That's called the bass tone. So we play with this part of our hand on the bass tone. Now I want you to pretend like I'm coming around with my magic glue to glue your fingers together, just like we would if we were in person. When we play around the outer edge of the drum, that's called the open tone. And we want to keep the fingers stuck together and we play with the tips there. Okay, so we've got bass tone with the palm, open tone with the fingers, but make sure the fingers are stuck together. Now, when we play with our strong hand on the bass tone, we're going to call it goon with a G. When we play our weak hand on the bass tone, we're going to call it doon with a D. So if I was to play here, I might go goon, doon, goon, doon. When we play on the open tone or the outer edge of the drum head, our strong hand is called go, also with a G, and our weak hand is called do, also with a D. So you'll see strong hand words start with a G, goon, and go. Weak hand starts with D, doon, and do. So hopefully you can remember all that. It might take a little practice working with the words in your head, but as long as you know which one's your strong hand, which one's your weak hand, you'll be off to a great start. So the first thing I want to remind you of is the universal call, and that's the secret code that I get to play to you to signal that we're starting, we're switching patterns, or we're stopping. And you might remember that the words are chocolate milk and potato chips. Okay, so think about those words, think about the rhythm. This is the rhythm that goes with it. So when you hear that, your job is to respond at first just with a goon on the beat. So it'll sound like this. Goon. All right, let's review the long walk. The long walk is goon, doon, go, do. And each of those notes are half notes. So you have to kind of let it ring for 2 beats. So if I was to play the long walk, I would say it. As I play it, it'll sound like this. 1, 2, here I go. Goon, doon, go, do. Goon, doon, go, do. See if you can play with me. Goon, doon, go, do. Goon, doon, go, do. Now from the universal call, you have to listen to how fast or how slow the beat is going in the call so that you know how fast to come in with that pattern. So if we did put that together, it'll sound something like this. Listen for the call, I'll play it, you start on the goon. Goon, doon, go, do. Goon, doon, go, do. Now, if you hear the universal call, your job is to keep that pattern going until you hear the end of it, and then you'll just respond with one goon on the middle of your drum on that bass tone with your strong hand, okay? So I'm going to keep the long walk going, but I'm going to say the universal call. As I say it, keep the long walk going, okay? Chocolate milk and potato chips. All right, If you need to practice that, just rewind and go back and try that one again. We're going to take a look at the walk. So the walk is quarter notes, and it's the exact same pattern as a long walk, just half the time, because it's quarter notes instead of half notes. So each note is going to get one beat, and it's goon, goon, go, do, goon, goon, go, do. So you'll notice you're switching from strong to weak hand as you go from the inside of the drum to the outside. So you might think of it as maybe like this, inside, outside, or bass tone, open, bass tone, open. Let's see if we can try that from the universal call. Here we go. Call, and as I do that, I'm going to keep the walk pattern going. I'd like you to keep it going too, and then when I get to the end of the universal call, you just need to respond with a goon on the bass tone, okay? Chocolate milk and potato chips. Great. If you need more practice on that, just rewind back to that one. But if not, we're going to jump ahead into the run. This one's a little bit more complicated. It is eighth note, so it's quite a bit faster. And it's goon, do, go, do. So I want you to think about that and think about which hand is actually moving from bass tone in the middle to the open tone on the outside part of the drum. And if you thought the strong hand with the goon and the go, you are correct. So notice the weak hand's just going to stay here. I'm alternating hands with my strong, weak, strong, weak, strong, weak, strong, weak, but my strong hand is moving in and out as it plays. So I'll do it a little bit slower for you, and then we'll try it up to tempo at the same tempo we tried the other patterns at. So goon, do, go, do, goon, do, go, do, strong, weak, strong, weak, strong, weak, strong, weak. So see if you can jump in with me. It's always best to start on that strong beat with the goon. Okay, now remember, this is going to be eighth notes, so eventually it has to be quite a bit faster, twice as fast as our walk. All right, so let's try that from the universal call. I'll do a little bit slower than the other ones, but we do want to try to have it nice and quick since it's eighth notes. All right, there you have it. Those are the first three patterns that we're reviewing and working on. I'd like you to practice them at home, get really comfortable playing each of the patterns, especially from hearing the universal call and into it, and then also hearing it and then ending it. We're eventually going to work on seeing if we can layer them all together and hear how they work together to create some pretty cool rhythms. So enjoy the practice time.